So inside your kit there's a dichotomous key that will help you identify the different macroinvertebrates that will start to release off of the rocks and swim around the water column, or will still be holding onto the rocks, so you need to find them and pull them off. These drawings are not to scale, but if you're able to follow the questions and kind of work your way down, should give you a pretty good sense of what they're like. And there'll be some key determinants of things at the end that will allow you to tell one from another. And we're going to do some sorting into these ice cube trays that have been filled with river water. And on the back side of this, there's an illustration that talks about the level of pollution tolerance. So if an organism is tolerant of water pollution, it will be able to withstand more water pollution. So we're looking for things that are intolerant of water pollution to indicate higher water quality. So we're going to do some sampling. This is a fun part. Your group will really enjoy this portion. So have some time set aside to do it fully.
You're supposed to see something moving.
Yeah, you should be able to.
There, see a few things.
So in general, as our assistants here are still looking around to see what they can find, clinging to the surface of the rocks, swimming loosely in the water column, burrowed into the algae onto the top of the rocks, we've started to find a variety of worm-like creatures living inside the actual algae. So not so much planaria or flatworms, but potentially midges or other larval stages of insects. So we could be at kind of a in-between stage of the growth habits of lots of different macroinvertebrates, or potentially this one site could have been a little stirred up over the last few sunny days we've had, so we might want to try to resample one more time, see if we can find anything more diverse. If we have time, maybe shift to a different location. Again, the key is to be adaptable and to try to see what you can find across a variety of sites. In general, we're looking for more matured, actually things that look like insects. Things like mayflies and stoneflies need a large amount of dissolved oxygen, and they will be swimming freely in the water column often, or clinging to the underside of the rocks in free-flowing streams that have a lot of oxygenation in them. So you want to try to find a spot that has a little bit of surface disruption to it, so that oxygen is being folded into the water onto the spot where they're living, and there's things to eat there. So that concludes the collection and analysis phase. In our sample, you can see that we found a variety of these small midge-like worms that are swirling around there in the bottom of the ice cube trays. So you can see these things are pretty small. You're going to have to look pretty closely to see them. A lot of those were buried in the algae on the top of the rocks. We also found some form of egg case. Looks like it might be like a frog or some other sort of amphibian that laid a small gelatinous case on a rock. So usually this will be a slightly more robust sample results, but you know, take what you can get out there in the world. So what we'd like to do now is to make sure that we place all these creatures back as close as we can where they came from in a least disruptive manner to enable them to keep on living their lives. You want to look real closely in the ice cube trays and the tub after you've emptied it out, because a lot of them will affix to the side, and we want to make sure and rinse them out here and not bring them back to turn into the site, and then staff has to scrape them off when they desiccate and die, which isn't very much fun. So try to take one more second and get them safely into the water column from where they were, and not just chuck them back into the river, as the urge sometimes is. So with that, so hopefully this helps you understand your role as a trainer for Watershed Watch and supplemented the in-person training you received from staff. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. But please make sure to get to your site early, assess it, make sure it hasn't changed when you checked it out before, make sure you have all your equipment ready to go, and that you're familiar with how to use it. And most of all, have a great time, and thank you for supporting Watershed Watch here in Boise, Idaho.